Hey guys, this is Joe from Fantasy Trading Room. Today we'll be going over Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, looking at some film from the past couple years and discussing their dynasty implications of this past NFL draft, so stick around. So over the past few years in the NFL, there's been a trend of young, exciting tight ends entering the league. We saw this last year through the 2023 NFL draft with Dalton Kincaid and Sam Laporta, two guys that excelled immediately in Buffalo and Detroit respectively. And the Raiders decided to continue this trend in the 2024 NFL draft by selecting one of the best tight end prospects we've really ever seen in Brock Bowers out of Georgia with a 13th overall pick. And although the strategy in Vegas' past draft seemed to be take the best player available, which was Bowers, there was a lot of perplexity around the move, considering that the Raiders had taken Michael Mayer, the former Notre Dame tight end, with their second-round pick in the previous year's draft. This move also left a lot of question marks around the dynasty value of both Bowers and Mayer. Mayer, of course, in startup drafts, and Bowers in dynasty rookie drafts. So it's worth taking a look at both their player profiles and their film over the last couple of years to see both their strengths, their weaknesses, and how they may fit into this Las Vegas Raiders offense under head coach Antonio Pierce. For starters, Bowers and Mayer may play the same position on the football field, but they are very different in the way they play the position and the way they are utilized on the football field. So former Georgia tight end Brock Bowers is a bit of a jack of all trades at the tight end position. He played all over the field, was a bit of a chess piece for the Georgia Bulldogs, and lined up in the backfield, took snaps outside as receiver, and obviously played the traditional tight end role as well. So Bowers had an accolade-filled career at Georgia, was one of the best tight ends in the nation year in and year out, won a couple of national championships, and the stats were impressive too. He had over 2,500 career receiving yards in college, as well as 26 receiving touchdowns. So Bowers' savvy at the tight end position really lies within his ability as a receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders. His route running was one of his best strengths in college. His ability to separate, his body control, his yards after the catch, his speed. He ran a 4.53 at the NFL Combine, something that really impressed the scouts and led to him being drafted so high. So a really impressive athletic profile here for Bowers. So it's obvious that the Raiders and scouts have the same opinion on Bowers. He's an elite receiving threat from the tight end position, gives you a lot in the blocking game as well, and is really an instant impact starter from day one. So the Raiders selected the blue chip tight end in Bowers, which left incumbent starter Michael Mayer in a bit of a tricky spot. He was a second-round pick in the 2023 NFL Draft and considered one of the best prospects at the tight end position in what ended up being a loaded tight end class. And so when looking at Mayer, one thing that immediately sticks out is that massive 265-pound frame, which is really great for blocking and something he really excelled at in Notre Dame when he was in college. The real strength in his game as a receiver lies within his ability to settle down in zone coverage, being a short area weapon in the short part of the field, his ability to get open, improvise on his routes. He also has a really impressive catch radius and really nice hands, making him a good safety blanket for any quarterback. So when contrasting the two tight ends, the differences with Mayer, we have a rookie season in the NFL with the Raiders to look at. Granted with not great quarterback play, but he got 27 receptions for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns. Maybe not as involved as he would have liked to see year one, but he was involved a lot in the run game as a blocker for the Raiders. Also something I mentioned before, he was involved mostly in the short game passing. His average depth of target in his rookie year was 5.5, which I believe was 30th among tight ends. So you can look more into the full profiles and the more advanced stats on the article I'll be posting on the Fantasy Trading Room website here soon. But in more simple terms, it seems in this tight end room that we have Bowers, the separator, the route runner, the quick athletic tight end, used more in the receiving game, and Michael Mayer, who's also used a lot in the receiving game, but has more of that build of the traditional blocking tight end that is used a lot in the receiving game, more in the shorter receiving game, with more of a security blanket for a traditional quarterback. So again, if you'd like a more in-depth explanation on the players themselves, go check out my article on the Fantasy Trading Room website, which should be posted soon. But that's all for now. Let's get into the film. So this was Michael Mayer against the Patriots during his rookie season. Really, his most productive game as a receiver during that first season. I believe he had 5 catches for 75 yards. So we see Mayer lined up, and as the play begins, he's going to block for just a second here on the edge, and then kick out into his route and settle in right here at the bottom of your screen. So we see Jabril Peppers, the safety, eyeing both the man over the middle, which I believe is Josh Jacobs, and then Mayer as well. So it's a zone coverage look here, and Mayer is just settling in a couple yards away from the line of scrimmage. Then we're going to see Garoppolo hit him right there, a bit of a security blanket move. Nothing was open really down the field, so Jacobs and Mayer were his two options. So Mayer makes the reception, immediately goes into yards after catch mode, and just goes for a couple yards. So the next play, we see Mayer lined up the right side of the line of scrimmage. So he's going to block for a second there, release. No one's on him right now. He's basically wide open before he runs his route. Just settles in right beyond the, right here, just beyond the marker for the first down line. So, yeah, really wide open the whole time. Just settles in between that zone coverage, makes the catch, and bowls forward for a couple of yards. So we're going to see Mayer line up right here. Forgive me for the poor drawing. So we see Mayer lined up there. He's going to run a bit of a shallow drag route to start the play. So we see him, he's in man coverage right here, and his defender gets a little bit locked up behind the other drag route, so Mayer gets open. Garoppolo delivers it under a bit of pressure, makes the catch, and then we're going to see, really, he can do some yards after the catch, just like Bowers. So we see, I think that's Jalen Mills in coverage right there, makes him miss with a nice little jump cut, not something you expect from a 265-pound tight end. And then bowls forward, breaks another tackle right there, and then spin move again. So getting a lot of extra yards there is Mayer off the drag routes. They really scheme him open on the those short little routes, and then give him some space to work, because he is an athlete. He's a big blocking tight end, but he really is an athlete as well. So they do scheme him open in those little zone coverage looks where he can really find a hole just to settle down and be a security blanket. So right here, we see Mayer lined up outside, which is not something we see very much in the film, but there's Mayer right there. And so what we're going to see, Mayer running a bit of a deeper route, gets cut off by the screen, but he does settle in right here. Looks like a deep zone coverage, and they're drawn away by this route right up here. And so Mayer is left basically wide open to make this catch. Settles in on the sideline. That's what he's so good at, finding the hole in zone coverage. So we see here he'll make the reception, and then here's the yard after catch. Makes a nice little cut, impossibly stays on his feet. That's really impressive to me. I think him and Bowers both have really impressive body control, and then is tackled shortly after. So we see Mayer lined up right here on the left side of the line of scrimmage. So he's going to run basically a seam route here, right up the middle, and he's going to be left very open right here. So yeah, so this guy right here, I'm not totally sure, I can't see the number, but he does a blitz, so that leaves Mayer at a really good advantage here, just to take the middle of the field. And you see he settles in right before the safety over here is able to drop in. This guy right here is able to drop in, and we'll see Mayer settle in on that seam route and just continue to gain yardage upfield, grabs it right at the first down marker, and is tackled shortly after. So Mayer right here is lined up right to the right of, I believe that's Devontae Adams. I can't see super well, but right to the right of Devontae Adams. And so he's going to run a bit of a fade route here and break out at the end. The ball really was never there, but he didn't really separate much as well. He wasn't able to get much separation against Jalen Mills. So a couple of things we can take away from the film there, Patriots playing the Raiders. First off, Michael Mayer being schemed open, being used a lot in the short passing game. This is a lot of his strength, and just them allowing him to sit down on those little sit-down routes. And I think, not that he can't be used downfield or that he won't be used downfield at all, but I think that shorter passing game might continue to be his role, just because Bowers does profile better as the down-the-field threat, middle-of-the-field threat, intermediate to long passing game type player. And not that Mayer won't be used there at all, but I think you don't draft two players in the same position to do the exact same thing. You want to diversify your tight end room, and I think they've done exactly that. I think they've done a great job. So I think Mayer will continue to be the sit-down route, blocker, short passing game. Not that he's not a good receiver. He's a great receiver. But I think they drafted two tight ends to do two fairly different things with their offense. So good stuff from Michael Mayer there. One of his most productive games, 5 catches for 75 yards in his rookie season. So he, I believe, will continue to have a good career with the Raiders. But let's go into the Brock Bowers film. Hey guys, so we're going to be going over the Brock Bowers versus South Carolina film today. This is obviously when he was still in college, playing against South Carolina. So first of all, we're going to see a jet sweep to Brock Bowers here, which, starting off, not really something you see from a normal tight end, but as we know, Bowers is no normal tight end. With that athleticism, that speed, he is going to really take on a really impressive role with the Raiders. So just starting off with a bit of the film here. So we're going to see this player here, and the running back here. They are going to block the linebacker over here and the two secondary players back here. So we're going to see Bowers take the route on the jet sweep, really showing his speed, and we'll see what happens here. So Bowers takes a jet sweep, and we see some good blocking right here and here, really just setting the edge, giving Bowers a great lane. The running back finally gets the block. Bowers takes the route to the outside and shows some speed, getting like 5 yards after the first down marker. So really impressive starting play from Bowers here off the jet sweep, showing that really diversified role he has, and a good play call from Georgia. So I'm not going to harp on Bowers blocking too long here. Just one clip I'm going to show from this series of clips of him blocking. I think something people really need to understand is how dominant Bowers can be as a blocker. We're going to see him down here lined up outside on the screen, and this player in motion is going to come across and take the screen, and Bowers is going to really just dominate on the block here, so we'll watch it. The screen is caught, Bowers engages here and just drives that player all the way to the outside, basically to the sideline, taking him out of the play. Really great block there from Bowers. Okay, so this play, we are in the red zone. A couple runs just happened, and we see Bowers lined up on the outside at the bottom of your screen here, and what we're going to see is the running back is going to take the carry and do a bit of an end around. Bowers is going to come around the backside, and they're going to exchange the ball here, and Bowers is going to take the blocking and just run it all the way in up there. So really a really good play call from Georgia, again using his versatility, but a really nice end around play call here, and we're going to see Bowers show just how athletic he really is. So again, the end around, the running back takes it. The defensive line is caught completely off guard by this. Bowers on the end around, he is way too fast for them to catch. The blocking is great here in the corner of the end zone, so he has a clear path. Number 3 can't catch up, and number 1 over here is making a really nice block. So Bowers just easily walks in. Phenomenal play call from Georgia. Really love this play for Bowers. So this is a clip I really wanted to focus on for Bowers. He's lined up on the outside here against this corner, and he's going to run basically just a fade route, and the quarterback is just going to throw him a ball up top. A nice placed ball, but really just a fade ball on the fade route. And we're going to see how that goes for Bowers here in the red zone. Obviously a dominant player, so he starts the route, gives him a little shake, and then he'll go up top. And really, I mean, you can only say he mosses the corner here, and amazingly gets a foot down. They're going to show a replay, but I absolutely love this clip for Bowers. It shows just his nimbleness and his ability to make a catch over the top as a tight end and as a receiver on the outside. So here's the ball from Stetson Bennett to Brock Bowers. Gets up, really climbs the ladder, makes this reception here. There's obviously 1 foot down. All you need in college is 1 foot, so gets that 1 foot down. And amazingly enough, I think he may get 2 down right there. I'm not sure that foot to the right may be touching the out of bounds line, but nonetheless makes 2 efforts to get those feet down. Amazing catch, mosses the corner. Really just climbing the ladder there for a really nice fade ball, showing his versatility all around the field and his just power as a receiver. So on this next play, we are going to see Bowers in motion come across. Here's the blocker here for the screen. It's going to be a screen pass right to Bowers, and we're going to see how that goes. So Bowers coming in motion, like I said, and right here he's going to catch a screen from Stetson Bennett. Good blocking, and powers through 2 tackles really there, and bowls forward for the first down. We'll take a look at this again. Powers through 1, powers through 2, knocks a guy over, and pushes forward for a first down. So Bowers showing the power there that he can use in motion, starting in motion on those screen passes especially. So next up here is we're going to see a fake toss from Stetson Bennett to the running back here. We're going to see Bowers is right here. He's going to get his block here and then disengage and run here. He's going to be the real target of the play. He's going to be designed up right here. So we see Stetson Bennett's going to fake the toss here. The defensive line is going to bite this way, and Bowers is going to be moving the opposite direction. Getting left basically wide open, but Stetson Bennett does have a rusher in his face, so he does have a hard time delivering this ball, but it is caught. So again, the fake toss, and then we're going to see what happens with Bowers here. Fake toss, defensive line's fooled. You see Bowers disengages there at the top of your screen right over here and sets him up with a guy in his face, delivers, gets hit as he throws, and we're going to see Bowers pick that ball up off the ground with one hand, continue running after the catch down the sideline with his speed, really impressive speed, And just going to show the replay of this ball that he picked up off the ground basically for a catch. Would have been incomplete for a lot of other tight ends, a lot of other receivers even. But here's the replay. Fake toss. Stetson rolls out, delivers this ball. It's going to show the replay of the catch itself. Here it is, right here. This is what I want to highlight. That is a one-handed grab. Basically, I mean, behind him, you can't blame Stetson Bennett there because he was being rushed. But a throw that was behind, being caught by one hand by Bowers, gathers it with the other, and keeps his momentum going and rushes for the first down. Really, really impressive stuff there. So right here on this play, Bowers is connected to the line of scrimmage. I believe is on the right side. So what we're going to see, he is going to run a seam route, basically just up here. And he's going to be left very open, and Stetson's going to hit him. And we're going to see a really impressive run after the catch here. Bowers just basically left untouched, finds a hole in the zone coverage, and he makes a jump cut here, a really, really impressive jump cut. 25 here, really doesn't have much of a chance to bring him down. Basically just a wide receiver move from a tight end right there. 36, not really able to handle the change of direction there from Bowers. Really impressive stuff. Runs all the way for, I believe it was a 78-yard touchdown. So really, really impressive run after the catch for Bowers after being hit straight on that seam route down the field. So there's the down the field prowess. Yeah, really great run after the catch. He's able to make guys miss, even at that big frame of his. So yeah, great play from Bowers again. We see this down the field prowess and elite run after the catch ability there. Really big things we see from that film breakdown is Bowers' versatility, his body control, and his ability after the catch. Obviously, was on display, breaking tackles with both power and elusiveness, separating really well, and just going over the top and making some big-time receptions. His versatility, using screen passes, used as a blocker, used over the middle of the field, just all over the field as a chess piece, really. So we see that he really is that alpha receiver. He's the ultimate receiving weapon that the Raiders have added to their offense to pair up with Michael Mayer. And I do believe they are going to take on different roles. I think Bowers is going to be the main receiver here of the two tight ends. I think both will be involved in both receiving and blocking. I'm not saying Michael Mayer will be irrelevant, but I think Bowers will be the more alpha of the two receivers, the two tight ends in the receiving sense. But yeah, some really dominant film from Brock Bowers there. Really showed what he can do in all parts of the field and all phases of the game, bringing cross in motion, lined up different places. So really, really good stuff from Bowers there. So in the end, in a dynasty perspective, I do think Bowers is going to take over the fantasy tight end one for the Las Vegas Raiders pretty easily. I think he profiles much better as a fantasy weapon than Mayer does. And I think both players are very talented. I think they will both have successful careers. But I think from a fantasy perspective, Bowers has a lot more upside with his player profile, with what he's done in college, and with what he does as a player and what he brings to the offense for the Raiders. So again, I think we are going to see those roles start to take shape with the two tight ends. Bowers obviously is the more dynamic receiver, and Mayer just being used as maybe a more short area weapon and more as a blocker as well. But again, both being used as receivers, just in different parts of the field and in different locations lined up differently. So what I would do in Dynasty and Fantasy especially, don't be afraid to take Brock Bowers with like a top 7 selection in a Dynasty rookie draft. I think that's totally fair. I think it's a good price for him. And if you want to select him earlier, there's no problem I have with doing that. I think he's a very high upside player, a phenomenal athlete, and I think he's going to make a big difference for the Las Vegas Raiders on offense. If you have Michael Mayer in Dynasty, I would look to shop him for anyone that thinks they can get tight end 1 production out of him. I'm not saying it's an impossibility, but there's not many times where two tight ends in the same offense are tight end 1s in fantasy. So if you can trade him for maybe a pick and another tight end, I'm not saying to try to get him off your team in any way possible by any means. He is still an asset, but I think the Brock Bowers being drafted to the Raiders 13th overall does hamper his fantasy value. And if you can shop him a bit and get a good value for him in a trade, I think it's worth taking the trade there. And really, if you have a need at tight end in Dynasty, Bowers is a really good selection. I think he's a part of this new generation of young, versatile tight ends that can play all over the field. You've seen a lot of it in last year's class, the class before, of rookies. I think he's going to join that group as one of the most dynamic tight ends in the league. And really, the future of tight ends in the NFL is looking very bright as a whole. So if you have a hole at the tight end position on your Dynasty roster, strongly consider Bowers in that rookie draft. I think he's a good value for the blue chip prospect that he is, and I think you'd be really happy with the results you're going to end up with him. I think he's a prospect with a pretty safe floor, and I think he's a good value right now. I hope you enjoyed this film breakdown and the Dynasty breakdown of Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer. I am Joe with Fantasy Trading Room. Thanks for watching.